first round is always kind of drawn out just across the league, but having two days a game and then 2 days again, I feel like that's rare. Just how have you sort of tried to best utilize the time, basically on both ends?
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a little bit more of a chance to use the first day of the two as really a rest and recovery and refreshing day for the guys, and then the next day is certainly more zeroed in on game plan and all that kind of stuff. And then with the early start tomorrow, you don't have any chance at much of any walkthrough or court time tomorrow, so kind of use today as your walkthrough. Yeah.
How was D'Antoni's bag kind of continue to respond and all like everything?
Pretty good. I really think it's a day by day thing, and his schedule is they've kind of got him paired up with kind of our schedule, even though he's not playing and stuff. So like they kind of get him on the court when we play and get him, and then they rest him the next day, and then they work him again the days we're working like today. So he's okay. I mean, he's been cleared to play, right? I would say, it still has to be. I mean, I love him, but it's just seems like such a difficult circumstance. It's been so long and it's so intense and it's whatever, but we're around there on making a decision on that. Yeah, thinking about it, I guess.
Nick, they were unhappy with some of the calls. They didn't get a game.
Yep.
After the game, when the players thought the NBA players were a lot wrong. Kind of going out.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I think it's a physical series, right? I think it's historically a big series, right from the fan bases to the players to the cities to everything. I think there's been all kinds of physical plays both ways. I think it'll continue to be that way. I think it's playoff basketball. I think that's what it is.
Nick, you mentioned the lack of a game day walkthrough as one of the consequences of 1 p.m. start. I guess what are the other difficulties, of playing that? Because these guys are used to playing 6.5 hours a day.
Yeah, I don't see any. I really don't. I think I don't see any. I just as soon play the game instead of sit around all day think about it.
Nick, through 3 games, this has been about as close to the series as you can get. Neither team has really blown the other out. I guess when you think about that, how much more of a ceiling is there for you guys to make adjustments as you have 4 games left potentially in the series?
Well, I mean, I think that I think there's certainly some adjustments to be made, right? And I think there's always adjustments to be made again in each game at the half, considering what you've seen from them in that portion too. So that's a part of it. I mean, listen, I keep telling the guys we got to play better, right? We got to play better. What are those areas? What do I mean by that? What are those specific areas? What do we need to do better? That's what we're talking about and working on. And I still feel like, as you can see in these games, it's other people at different times of games. And I think there's more opportunity there yet for some of our other guys. Yeah.
I know you're hyper-focused on your team and this matchup, but across the league, it feels like it's another example of so many star players are either playing through injuries or out. I guess just when you see that as a coach, is that just horrible luck? Is there just anything that comes to mind for you when you see
Yeah, I mean, it's a little difficult to know exactly what's going on with other guys. You're obviously, I mean, I'm watching that Indiana-Milwaukee game last night, and yes, Middleton was cooking right and going, but you're just like, geez, Dame hasn't touched the ball. It seems like forever. And then you find out after the game that he tweaked his, so you find out that, well, now that, kind of makes my thoughts of he hasn't even dribbled it in the last 6 minutes almost, so so you don't know what's going on with all that stuff. What do I make of it? I don't know. I think a lot of people use this statement that it's this time of year, nobody's 100%, all that kind of stuff. Maybe that's a little overused too, but think your first part of that question was the best part. I'm ultra focused.
Just because you're also dealing with it too, and it's, yeah.
So speaking of that, how important is it for you to have a third player or a bench player come off and support Joe and Tyrese?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need everybody, right? I think that we're kind of in this 7, 8, 9 rotation. You know, I think everybody, and again, and when I say that, it doesn't mean scoring. It just means playing well. I really think that you could say Kelly, Tobias, and Nico played really well. They've really played well, and it hasn't really resulted in a ton of points for any of them yet. Right? Kelly had a little bit of a ball found him on a couple cuts, and he made a couple like that's gonna move around. I think continue to move around. But what we need is all those guys to go in there and play well, be patient. And if the night happens to be your night when you're the one that gets swung around to open, you got to be ready to vault up and stick it, or you got to make that critical cut versus a double team to the rim and get that layup on them. So that's kind of what I've been kind of thinking about.
Robinson left the game tonight in practice.
Yep.
They were without him all time during regular season, but how is him possibly being out? How does that affect him?
Well, they certainly got a good replacement in Precious, right? I mean, I thought Precious came in after not playing at all in the series and was really good. He brought a fresh set of legs. You know, he's very athletic. You know, he really rolled in there and pounded a couple. He's on the glass like we just gotta. You know, we talked about when he's in. Here's what we're seeing, and you know, we gotta kind of. It's kind of what you're doing on these games between. You're kind of refreshing memories of these guys that hadn't played in the series yet, making sure everybody's aware of the coverages and all that stuff when they're in, what we're doing. But you know, Precious played really well for them, I thought, all through the regular season when Robinson was out. So they've got a guy there ready to go.
Nico was just talking about how in guarding Brunson, obviously just the goal is to make him work. He's going to get his shots and get to his spots the best he can. I guess what type of mental fortitude does that take, not just from him, but from everybody? And because it's not just one game. During the regular season, it's over and over and over the course of a series.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that you can see there's a lot of guys end up on it. One way or another, either we're switching matchups or they're running something to force us into some switches. So there's anywhere from, I don't know, let's say 5 different guys that end up guarding him in a one-on-one situation. So each one of them has to be understanding, like, what are we trying to do when they're on them, right? And then, you know, you gotta have a short memory. You know,
Yeah.
He comes down and makes one or gets you up in the air one time and you got to dig in and get ready to go to work, because chances are he's coming right back at you. And you got to just dig in and go to work again and forget about the last one and just concentrate on the next play in front of you over and over and over again. Good? Okay, thanks a lot.